I like these guys. They are funny guys.
For Friday, June 29th, 2018, this is Around Midnight with the Local Boys. I am Joe Carbonetta. I've got CJ Devine and Todd Fluker joining me here. How are you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good. I always feel like you should take a breath when you do the intro. You sound like you're holding your breath.
I'm not holding my breath.
No, it just sounds like it.
He's being a consummate professional. Look it up.
He's consummating what?
I like the way, Todd, you put your flag in such a position on your mic that it's actually obscuring CJ's face in that shot.
In this shot, yeah. That's a good one.
Was that intentional or was that by accident?
No.
That was intentional.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's moving a little bit. Hold on.
All right, well, anyway, we are live. It's been, what? Gosh, it's been a month, I think, since we've been on the air. Something like that, right? Since we've been on live. And so we're back tonight. And if you want to give us a call, if you want to get in on the conversation, do give us a call, 951-356-6882. That is the number to call. Not so coincidentally, if you need the services of Mixified Media Solutions, that is also the number you can call 24 hours a day, although the business offices aren't open 24 hours a day, but you can leave a message and they'll get back to you. Not so coincidentally, you can join the live chat that's going on right now. You can reach out to us at Gmail. You can tweet us. You can shoot Chevelle some email, that is.
See, you always pause.
Tweets.
Like shoot Chevelle, then dramatic pause, and then you complete the sentence. There are people out there right now that are taking that way too seriously. Yeah.
Well,
shoot Chevelle.
You sound genuinely concerned, CJ.
You're saying
In
it
email.
as if it has nothing to do with your opinions on things.
Everybody agrees with me, Todd. So, no, it has nothing to do with my opinions.
Anyway.
And they're not opinions, they're facts.
That email, by the way, is mixified@gmail.com. Or you can tweet me at Joe Carbonetta, at Chevelle Devine if you want to reach Chevelle Devine, and at Todd Fluker if you want to get to Todd Fluker.
I like how you put these little flags like right here. I feel like I'm going to stab myself in the eyeball whenever I'm talking to the mic, so that's going to have to go over here.
Well, okay, yeah. You go ahead and stick it wherever you want to there, you know. It's all good.
Shove it right there. I'm sorry.
A little hostile there, aren't you, CJ?
Consummating Professionals.
So, gosh, there is so much in the news to talk about, but CJ, I know you had something that you've been trying to bring up for the longest time, and that was something about the a certain type of economy. What were you calling that?
The gig economy.
The
it's
gig
a
economy.
thing,
Okay.
Joe.
All right, go ahead. Why don't you elaborate on that for us?
It's basically like jobs like Uber, driving for Uber, Lyft, the DoorDash type stuff. Jobs where you basically have an app that tells you where to go get money, and somehow money magically arrives in your bank account.
I tell you where to go all the time. You don't actually listen.
Yeah, but you don't put money in my bank account either. So there's
true.
that.
Go ahead and slide him 50 cents every time you tell him to.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, yeah, cool. I'll go there.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you
anyway,
want fries with that?
So what about this gigabit economy?
Well, there's like the people who do this.
Did Joe say gigabit economy?
I did. I called it the gigabit economy.
That's actually kind of clever.
It's pretty good.
There's like if you go online, there's forums and all kinds of stuff. I haven't really looked at all of them, but sometimes you'll see them like reposted and retweeted. People recounting their nightmare stories about either customers they've had on Lyft. Like if you go on YouTube and look up like customers from bad Uber rides and whatnot.
Okay.
Like people have really been total buttholes. And you take that, like you look at how people, when you go to a restaurant, everybody kind of feels entitled to get everything their way, and they treat the person that's serving them like they're not even human.
Okay.
And now this is kind of shifted over to the so-called gig economy. The backside of it is, like the person doing the work doesn't even really have an employer they can go and complain to, because all of their interactions with the employer are pretty much virtual, and most often it's happening they're talking to a bot when they have to send a complaint. There's like some form or something. Anyway, people are really treating these gig economy workers like crap. So it's just treat people good, man.
Oh, okay. I For some reason, I thought you were going in a completely different direction.
What
with this
direction
guy.
did you
I
wanna
don't know.
go?
I thought you had some personal experience.
Well,
with,
I do, as it turns out.
Okay, all right. See,
my
that's what I was
experiences
waiting for.
aren't nearly as exciting as some of the stuff you might find if you browse the internets looking for some of these horror stories. A lot of them tend to be like Uber drivers who will have dash cams, kind of for their own protection, because you get these strangers getting into your car and they'll come up with all kinds of BS stories about how you did something to them just so they can get out of paying you $10. There was one I saw recently. There's a guy who drives up in Canada. And the girl gets into the guy's car, and as soon as he starts going to the destination, she cancels the ride to try to get out of paying for the ride.
Wow.
So he stops the car and tells her to get out, and she starts giving him all kind of grief and cussing him out and all this other kind of stuff. So things like that, things people do to try to get out of the fact that a person is actually using their own private property and taking their own time to help you get from point A to point B, cheaper than it would be if you had to call a cab. And you're treating this person like crap.
I think Todd had one of those experiences where he actually gave somebody a ride and it ended up like them getting out of paying for it. I think that's when he was driving for Goober.
Goober.
Yeah. How was that story, Todd?
That was just me being a good Samaritan.
Oh, is that what that was?
And seeing a person in need, a fellow human being,
Okay.
who said they needed to go to the hospital. So I was like, oh man, I feel real bad. This person's sitting at a bus stop waiting to go to the hospital. It's probably going to take him an hour. And while on the other hand, I'm going there right now.
To the hospital?
Well, I'm going past there.
Huh. What the heck is that?
That's some Todd music for
Yeah,
while he
good
was
stuff.
driving with Goober.
Sounds like some anime music. I like that.
Yeah, I know.
It's good stuff.
It was totally your style there.
That was probably when I was working at the warehouse or something. So
Oh, wow,
I
that's
was
way
going,
back.
I
Oh, I
was
think I
going to
remember that.
Hastings already. So I was going past Huntington or wherever.
That's a little bit of a detour, man.
Not Huntington. What was that hospital that closed?
Whatever,
passing.
St.
Anyway,
something. St. Luke's. It was
just
St. Luke's.
finish telling the story about how they got out of paying for the ride.
They weren't paying for anything, Joe. I just said, okay, I'll give you guys a ride. And it was him and his girl or something like that. And I was like, all right, dropped him off at the hospital. I was like, all right, God bless. See you guys later. And they like promptly did an about face and walked right across the street to somewhere not at the hospital. I was like, all right. I learned my lesson. No good deed goes unpunished.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, part of the reason why I bring this up is because a lot of people are having a hard time getting work anyway, so a lot of people are turning to these jobs, and I think that some of these companies that run these types of things, I mean, there's good and bad sides to it. You do have to be cautious. You, as a service provider, do have a quite, I don't know if I want to say a lot of control, but you have a bit of control over the jobs you take. Like, you don't have to pick up everybody.
Well, yeah, like you were saying, you have to be picky about your jobs because sometimes you get those jobs where you have to drive all the way out to the boondocks.
So this brings me to
one
my
delivery.
one story.
Yeah, okay, so we're still waiting for
This
this
is
one
my
story.
one story. This is the first time I ever did it. So I'm doing one of these delivery service ones, right? And I'm on
Okay.
my bike. And it was the first time I ever did it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling amped. I'm gonna get like $12 or something like that. And like the very first one I get, I'm in Burbank at Fry's. Is this my music?
Star Trek fight music.
Star Trek fight music. That's beautiful. So I'm in Burbank, so I have to go from Fry's basically down to Magnolia, which is still in Burbank, not that far, right?
Okay.
To go pick up a poke bowl for somebody. I've never ordered poke in my life. It's, you know, you got to have fish, and he wants like extra this and that and the other, and there's like 12 of them, and I'm on my bike, and this is before I got smart enough to put like a little crate on the back of my bike, so I'm carrying their food.
So he's like holding it with one hand and trying to steer
It was quite a chore, let
Okay.
me tell you. So I get like 3 of these poke things. It takes like 20 minutes. You're sitting in here for like 15, 20 minutes getting the food, and they do pay you for your wait times, which is okay. But then they don't give you the destination until after the order is completed.
Wait, hold back up for just a second. They're paying you for the wait time, but what are they paying you? Like 6 cents an hour
roughly,
or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, okay.
No, not even an hour. It's like per minute, like 5-10 cents a minute or something like that. It's not terrible.
Okay.
But then, after you complete the order, they give you the destination. I'm in Burbank, and the destination was in, like, just south of Big Tahunga.
Okay.
So it's like a 15, 20, maybe 10, 12 miles or something like that. Long story short, this was like a 15-mile round trip. The guy ended up eventually tipping, which was pretty decent. But then it takes you out to the middle of nowhere, where there's no restaurants or anything that anybody wants. So then you have to ride all the way back to wherever there's some civilization to get another order, because it uses your location to tell you where to go next.
I thought he was going to tell me the GPS made him take a wrong turn and he drove off a cliff.
That would be
and
horror
then,
story number 2.
Okay.
And it wasn't for whatever reason the GPS just wasn't working right. I picked up this order and I actually feel sorry for the guy. I'm not mad at him at all.
In the middle of nowhere in the snow and was stranded. And
well,
had to
no,
hike
it was
back,
Westwood, but it was practically
and
the
he
same
would get delirious
thing.
and took off his clothes and was running around naked and hypothermia.
Wow, your
and frostbite.
imagination is frightening.
Anyway, okay, go ahead.
No, I said my
Yeah, he would
GPS
be
was
dead.
dying, and the place I was supposed to drop this stuff off was literally like less than a mile away from the place I picked it up from. I ended up riding because my GPS said get on Wilshire and start heading west. I got on Wilshire, and by the time I got to Westwood, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And the place was all the way back, like less than a mile away. I had driven like 15 miles down Wilshire. Well, okay, 10 miles. I always exaggerate.
So
I don't know the distances.
When he finally got to the destination, the food was cold, and they actually wanted
the
him
food
to
was
tip them.
cold. The guy had canceled the order. And it was a hot mess, man.
So and motorcycles don't come with USB plugs, so you can't like plug in your phone?
I did install one, yes.
Okay, all right.
I actually...
I have an article here from HBR.org talking about how to thrive in the gig economy.
Yeah, that's propaganda.
This guy seems to be doing pretty good in this little picture.
He looks like he's sitting on a toilet.
In a tiny little box. That's pretty much what it feels like. You're shoved into a tiny little box, working
Well, how is that
tirelessly.
different than any white-collar job where you're in a cubicle somewhere?
At least you have a boss you can go yell. Well, you can't go yell at your boss. But, I mean, there's other humans involved. Now, don't get me wrong. For certain types of persons, this is the perfect kind of job. You set your own hours. You, again, get to pick and choose the jobs you want to take. You don't have to do the work because you can choose
mostly work
the rates.
from home at some of these jobs, or some you have very minimal contact with people in general.
Yeah.
So,
that
if you're
does
not
sound like a
support
good thing for
person-
CJ because he's
It's very
not
good in a
most
place
social.
like L.A. because you have a lot of actors and whatnot who want to be able to go do their auditions and all that other stuff whenever they want
you can
to.
work
So that
around
works
your
fine.
schedule.
Okay.
Or if you're in school, you don't have to like go to come beg the manager over there at Jack in the Box. I can't do Thursdays anymore, and they're like, oh my gosh, you don't have to deal with that anymore. Yeah, I said Jack in the Box. Don't give me that look.
No, I was just thinking we need to wrap this up because it's already time to be taking a break.
So anywho,
but,
my whole point is just be nice to the people that are doing this for you, man. It's tough, and I know it gets expensive, but you knew that when you downloaded the app. Tip a bruh. Can you come on, man?
So you're strictly speaking from a personal.
Yeah, it's like you get those orders where they want you to get like extra peanut sauce and 2.5 scoops of this and that, and it's like, come on, man, seriously,
Extra foam,
Seriously?
extra hot.
Oh,
half
there was
calf.
there's a third horror story.
no.
There was this one where I had to deliver up into the boondocks where there is no GPS or cell phone service.
Uh-huh.
So the GPS doesn't even know how to tell me to get where I'm going. And I try to call the guy, and the phone keeps cutting off. And he's like, oh, you're not even close. I'm like, well, you should have said something in the text like 12 miles ago.
That's why you're supposed to that's why you use Google Maps so you can download your things to use offline, and then you just use the cell towers to
Man,
give you
if you have to download a Google map every single time you make a delivery, that's cutting into the time.
No, you download for the whole area.
It doesn't help you if you still don't know the way.
That's what the
You're
GPS
assuming
is
that it's telling you to go in that same area. I've had rides where I'm in Pasadena and it tells me to go all the way to West Covina.
Well, whose fault is that?
The app.
Don't you get to pick and choose what jobs?
No, but you never know the destination. That's like, pick up this order at Jack in the Box. I'm thinking, okay, that's like 2 blocks away. No, they meant the Jack in the Box down there in El Monte.
Well, that sounds like a flawed app to me.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
that's
don't even get me
that's-
started. So what I'm saying is, be nice to these people.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, with that in mind, remember that we are live if you're watching us Friday, the 29th of June. It's only a few days away from the 4th. You can give us a call, 951-356-6882, or join us on the live chat. We're on Facebook, right, guys?
You're supposed to know the
Live
answer
on
to that.
Facebook.
Yeah, we're live on Facebook. So join us on the live Facebook chat, all right? Let us know what you think. Tell us your horror stories if you're part of the gig economy. And we'll be back right after this, out around midnight with the local boys. Around Midnight is a production of Mixified Media Solutions. Mixified is a full-service multimedia production company. From boardroom to broadcast, whatever your production needs, Mixified is your solution. Go to Mixified.com, that's MIXAFIED, or call 951-356-6882. Mixified Media Solutions.